All right, it is 10:24 a.m. and I had another trade with, in theory, $100 risk level. Actually, I should have had more shares right here, but I think I'm doing well so far trading a $100 risk level compared to a $40 risk level. I feel like I just take the trade a lot more seriously. I wait for really good setups, and I'm gonna stick to a $100 risk level for now, but I might go back to a $40 just depending on how things go. But I think overall it was a step in the right direction. I was kind of feeling down just trading such small position sizes, and still a $100 risk level is nothing compared to actual day trader who makes a living off of this, which is what I'm trying to do. Anyway, this was a trade that I took with ILUS. I want to go over it, and this one worked out, but I did not trade this one as well as I could have. But let's just go over some of the background. ILUS had a gap up and it sold off. I'm not sure why it had a gap up. It could have been news. I really don't know, but it had a gap up. It had decent volume, and then it sold all the way back. It almost got to the level where it was trading before, and I like how it also showed that drop right here, and then it had a small bounce, and then it came back, but it was still trading around the same level. And the best part was that I had this trend line right here based off of these wicks, and it was breaking past it and everything. And normally, when the stock breaks a downtrending trend line, which is a setup that I take for like a reversal setup, sometimes it kind of breaks past the downtrending trend line, maybe uptrends like it does here, or maybe just like stay around the same level, but now no longer getting under the trend line. But then it just immediately sells off and it tries to get back to the trend line or get back under it. But I got in it right here. I bought 10,000 shares at 767. That was at 956. Right here at 767. Why? Because it broke the downtrending trend line, but I didn't hesitate because it was a very large bidder that showed up at 765, I believe, and it had like 150,000 shares. So when we broke the trend line, big bidder shows up. It's now the second dip at the same level and it's holding. There were just a lot of things going for it, and I did buy for that reason 10,000 shares. I thought worst case scenario, I'm going to cut it if it breaks and gets to the 75. So if it were to have gotten to the 759 level and it looks like it's going to break under it, I will be cutting. And I thought worst case scenario, I'm out at 7 cents exactly, which in this case would have been a $67 loss, not really a $100 loss, but I think I calculated 10,000 shares when it was trading much higher. I think around here, and I just never pulled the trigger. And this would have been a drop from 79 to 7, and that would have been close to a $100 loss. So I should have probably have adjusted my size when it was starting to trade at a lower level, but that's totally fine. And then here's the problem. I sold way too quickly, and I'm glad it worked out. As you can see, I got to VWAP, which is always the goal, but I need to get it out of my head that sometimes setups, when they work, they're not just gonna spike up and go crazy and just continuously uptrend. That's like a really newbie thing, although I guess we're looking at that right now with GTII. That's interesting. Anyway, it's not always going to do that. So what threw me off was that, we had the uptrend right here. We had a big bidder, and then it got to this level. And to give myself some credit, there was just one bidder at 77, and a lot of shares were being dumped into it, but it was clearly just, a bidder at 77 with hidden size. Anyway, I did sell 5,000 shares at 957 the next minute, which was the bottom, and then I sold another 5,000, which was the rest of my position at 958 because it wasn't really just looking like it was going to continuously uptrending, and there was a lot of selling price action. But I need to take into consideration that not all setups again are just going to, break out and just start green candle after green candle after green candle uptrend. This did something, and this is the same thing that happened with TXTM actually yesterday, where it uptrends and then it kind of trades a little range higher than where my entry is. And although that's kind of nerve-wracking, it did eventually break officially past that 77.9 level, and it got to VWAP, so I could have made a lot more money. Could have made, I mean, best case scenario got to 81, so I mean just under 40 bucks best case scenario. And you know, I got to my goal. I got to VWAP, and maybe it can try to break above it later, and that could be a different setup. But I was very interested in this one, and I'm glad it worked out, even though I didn't make as much as I could have. And that's pretty much it for right now. I was looking at TXTM, but then I realized it just didn't have that much volume. I'll make an update later. Alright, it is 8:12 p.m. and I am here to call it off. Overall, I'm going to be up on the day, just $3 trading ILUS, and I could have been a lot more profitable. I think with more experience, I can be able to trade something like this and be more profitable. Again, I just can't assume that all setups that work out, of course, some are not going to work out, they're going to fail, but not all setups that are going to work out are just going to uptrend and then get to the goal just, quickly. It's going to, in this case in particular, have like a little stutter right here before it made a move towards VWAP, which was the goal. And I hope I can be a part of a setup like that in the future and be able to profit from it. GTII did offer, I'm gonna guess this is a short squeeze. This is pretty cool looking. And I was looking at it, but the range didn't seem that nice. I mean, $5 to, 520, and it dips with volume, and then it got to VWAP 5 to 511. That's not really something profitable, but it did do this. I think this was a short squeeze, and this was a 10% move, so that was pretty cool. And that is pretty much it. There wasn't anything else that I was interested in. At least I was on the right track with ILUS, and I didn't hesitate and not trade it at all. That's all I have for today. A really good setup, and next time, hopefully, I should be able to be much more profitable with it, God willing.